guys, it's Monica here. I am so excited to introduce you to Real Estate Fight Club's newest partnership, Cyberbacker. Cyberbacker is the best in the business for virtual assistants. How do I know this? Because I am a Cyberbacker customer and I love this company. I have my favorite, Frances. She is my Cyberbacker, been with me for over a year. She's amazing. She makes me better. She's eager to help. She's on time. She's disciplined. She's awesome. And this company, Cyberbacker, has figured out the system from the interviewing process to find out what I need, to the interviewing process to interview several Cyberbackers, to the onboarding process, to the training process. Very buttoned up, very awesome. You and I both know it's time for you to leverage. It's time for you to take that step, and Cyberbacker is a really safe, awesome solution. Make sure to mention Fight Club, and you will be getting a free gift. All right? Do it. Make the call. See ya.
All right. Here with me today is Ashley Hardwood. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being on. So we're going to talk about how to take a day off as a solo agent. This is such a juicy topic.
It's very needed too, because most solo agents don't ever take days off.
I know, which is not good for anybody, not your family, not you, not your clients. But I want to give some context as to who you are. So you are a licensed agent, but you're a real estate coach out of Boston, Massachusetts. And you have a company called Move Over Extroverts, which is a coaching and training company for introverted real estate agents. I think we're going to fight on this, Ashley.
I love it. It is my favorite thing. And I love talking to my extroverted counterparts about this as well.
And then you have to take a break from us, right? After you talking to us. Yeah.
Yes.
But this is, this course on taking days off is something that you also teach along with like how to be a successful agent as an introverted agent. But give us kind of like a synopsis of taking the day off. Like, what are you seeing out there? What are your recommendations?
Yeah. So it's really, really hard to take a day off as a solo agent. First of all, because most people feel guilty doing it. So that's really the
or
first
they feel like
hurdle.
They're getting punished.
Yeah. It's like the first hurdle is giving yourself permission to do it and realizing that it's not a luxury. It's really important for your business and your clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, the easiest way, if you don't have a team, you don't have a transaction coordinator, partner with another agent in your office, somebody who you trust, somebody who's maybe at a similar production level as you, and just say, hey, let's cover for each other so we can both take days off.
Right. What do you think about agents? Because actually, I agree with you. We're not going to fight on that point because a lot of people think like they should have maybe a new person covering them, but I think that's a mistake. And it sounds like you do too. It should be, why are you saying somebody at the same production level?
Because most of the time, those will be the people who have your same kind of experience level. And so the service level will be somewhat consistent for your client. That's the most important part. They don't care if it's you. They just care if they're going to have somebody respond to them.
But what do you think about that? Because a lot of agents, isn't that the big pushback? Like they're like, oh, well, my clients only want to deal with me.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they're just wrong about that. I'm sorry.
Wrong.
I get it because I felt the same way working with my buyers and sellers. But there's a way to do it. You set it up at the first meeting, you set it up at the listing appointment, at the buyer consult, and you say, listen, you are very important to me as a client, and someone will always be available to answer your questions. Mm-hmm. However, there will be times when I'm simply not available because I'm sitting at a table with another person like you, like I am now. I'm not going to be on my phone.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you will still have somebody there to answer your questions. It's my colleague so-and-so. They're awesome. I've worked with them for years.
Right.
And the client, I've said this a million times to clients, they've never said anything negative. They're just like, oh, okay, whatever.
That's it. And I think like if there is every once in a while, right, there's a client that's like, no, I only want to deal with you. And I think like at that point, it's kind of like an evaluation. Like, I mean, this is sort of unrealistic. Do I really want to deal with this person?
Right. And I would be surprised if somebody says that at the very first meeting.
Right.
Usually I hear that coming up later. If it comes up at all, it's sometimes later. Maybe it's not a great personality fit with the other person who happens to be covering. Sure, that will happen now and again, but that's not a reason to not try to take time off ever.
What do you think is a good amount of time to take off, or what are your recommendations?
I always recommend 1 day a week minimum.
Like a full 24 hours, you're saying? Or
if possible, yeah. Once you have these systems in place where you have your, email forwarded to your person who's covering for you, that's the other thing is the language of your email autoresponder. You want to say, for any real estate emergencies, contact so-and-so. And then the client will check themselves and be like, is this really an emergency?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah. So it's like, otherwise I'll get back to you on such and such day by this time or whatever. Exactly. What about texting?
Texting it's a tough one. You have to really train yourself to not check it. You can turn off the notifications for certain people. So I'd recommend doing that.
Okay.
And it's hard to take an entire 24 hours without checking texts.
Especially if it's your personal phone also.
If it's your personal phone. Yeah. I mean, one thing you could do is get a Google Voice number and start giving that out to clients. And that way it's a separate app and you can have a little bit more distance there.
Well, and when you're off, you can forward it to that person can log in or whatever and see it, and forward it or whatever. What are you seeing is the biggest hurdles to taking these days off? I mean, I think we all know we have to do it, right? We need to do it.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of head trash and it's also a lack of confidence.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
It's feeling like if I don't get back to my client in a half hour, they're going to leave me and find somebody else.
Well, they wouldn't if you had a buyer agreement.
I'm all for buyer agreements. Yes. Everyone should be having buyer agreements 100%.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with you.
It's that psychology of if I don't get back to them, they're going to think I'm not doing good.
But it's just not really true.
It's not true. And you teach people how to treat you. So if you're responding to texts at 2 a.m., then you can't get mad when somebody expects you to respond back. So just don't do that. You have to have these boundaries for yourself. I'm not going to respond after 7 or whatever your magic number is. And then
I think too, it's okay to people to text you, right? It's okay. And I personally, and I think Monica and I kind of fight about this a little bit. It's I don't think that you should have in your autoresponders, I return calls and texts between the hours of blah, blah, blah. I hate that. It makes me crazy. I think people can what's that?
That's not my style either.
No, we agree. Wow. I really cannot believe on the amount of things that we agree on, Ashley. I really thought there was going to be some kind of battle here. But I think if people are allowed to call and text and do an email whenever they think of something, right? That's what happens. But if the biggest light bulb for me was thinking, okay, what do these people do for a living? If they work for a company, they literally think that we all work in the same office together. They literally think that. And they literally think that when we're off, when we leave, just when they leave, that's it. They don't realize, they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, just because somebody reaches out to you doesn't mean you have to respond to them right away.
No. And just because somebody asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it either. That was a really big aha for me too at some point. I forget when, but what was your biggest turnaround? Because did you used to not take days off and now this is why you kind of teach the class? So what happened? Can you share a little bit of what happened to you?
Yes. I have a lot of examples of this, but the worst one, the most visceral one for me when I think about it is I was at the airport about to go away for the weekend, just a quick weekend trip in the country. North Carolina, maybe, I don't know. And I couldn't find somebody to cover this showing. My client was texting me while I was on the way to the airport, like, I need to see this house.
Right.
And there, for some reason, there wasn't an open house. I don't remember the situation exactly, but I almost didn't get on the plane. I almost canceled my vacation.
Stop
I
it.
couldn't find it. And I was like crying. And my ex-husband at the time was like, we will turn, he was very understanding. He's like, we'll turn around and go home if you want. And I'm like, it was so awful. And then I finally found, I called everyone in my office. I called so many people. I finally found someone to cover this stupid showing. But it was a horrible experience for me.
Yeah.
And I realized
and they didn't buy it, did they?
No, of course not. It was such a waste of time. And I realized I never wanted to go through that emotional turmoil ever again. I want to be able to enjoy my time off because I've earned it. Like we work so hard and we're so stressed out. We earn this time off. And so having these people in place and systems in place is so important. So you don't sabotage the time that you do take off.
Right. You know? Well, and I think too, we all know people that we can tell when they need to take a break, right? Like we all have friends and colleagues where we're like, you need to take a walk, take a drink of water and like come back tomorrow. And here's the thing, like we are not any different. We need a break too, but it's harder for us to like recognize that inside ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I agree. Like having these, what about people? Do people ever say like, well, I don't want anybody to like steal my clients?
I don't hear that as often, but I can see why somebody would be concerned with that. And to my response is trading time with another agent only works if it's someone you really, really trust.
Right. Exactly. And if they have, like you said, a similar process, they understand the flow like you do, similar production, things like that. Are there any other like things that come up commonly of why agents or any hurdles that come up commonly for them of why they're not taking a day off?
Well, in this market lately, I hear a lot of agents saying they have too much work going on with all the offer craziness.
Yeah.
Too many offers. Okay. So don't take Monday off. Don't take Sunday off.
Or Friday.
Or Friday. Maybe take Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday is a good day to take off. You've already negotiated all the offers from the weekend. You put your, new listings come on either Tuesday or Thursday, or you can just have somebody else put them on Wednesday for you, whatever, have them all set up.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have to be in the weeds with all the offers.
Yeah. Tuesday or Wednesday is a good day, I would think, to take off. Cause it's like, there is a ton of stuff that happens Mondays and yeah, you're right. I like that day. Take it off. Yeah. Okay.
Take it off.
So if people want to find out more about, how you train on this class or maybe some other classes that you're doing, especially for introverted agents, what is the best way to get a hold of you? And do you have a class coming up?
So I teach in offices all over the country, either virtually or in person. So the best way is to reach out to me or even connect me with your leadership who books classes for your office. My website is moveoverextroverts.com.
A terrible name, Ashley.
I know. It's the word. I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find, and I'll give you my email as well. It's ashley@moveoverextroverts.com.
What do you think is the percentage of introverts that do real estate? Do you know?
I think it's higher than people think. I think it's about half.
You think it's half?
I think it's half.
It might be. Like, yeah, because I know I would say my business partner is an introvert, but I think like a lot of people are an introvert compared to me, except for my co-host, Monica. She's definitely more of an extrovert. That's interesting. What are the other topics that you cover or that you can teach on?
So a whole class just on taking days off.
Mm-hmm.
A class.
It requires that. It requires more than a day.
Seriously, no, what happened was I have my signature class, which is building a career as an introvert in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. That's an hour class too. And what happened was I was talking about taking days off in that class, and we would like have so many questions around that, and I would spend so much time on that piece that the classes were running long. And I finally said, just screw it. I'm going to write a whole class just on this.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's been great. So I have that one. I have one I just launched on how to avoid burnout. It's 35 tips on how to avoid burnout.
That's a good one.
And then the other one is, what's the other one? Oh, how to manufacture momentum in your business and like keep that going.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So moveoverextroverts.com is the best way, or your email.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really appreciate you being on. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you. This was great.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Monica Weakley here. You know how you're supposed to post about real estate every single day on Facebook? Yes, you do. And the reason is, if we don't remind our Facebook friends what we do for a living and how we help people, they will forget about it. We know it's our job to inform, educate, and demonstrate what we do for a living. Well, I'm coaching agents all around the country, and they understand that, but they're not doing it. And I ask them, why aren't you doing it? Probably just like you. And they said, Monica, we don't know what to post. Can we just borrow your stuff? Because I love creating Facebook posts. And these can often be used over on Instagram as well. So I said yes, and people were borrowing my stuff. So I created finally a product that you can sign up for free. It is free, guys. There is no reason for you not to sign up for this. It's ghostposter.com, GHOSTPOSTR, no E in there, just TR.com. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a Facebook posting idea to your email every single day. So not only do you have this great idea, but you've been reminded, oh yeah, I need to post. And that's Monday through Friday. And if you don't love the post, or you think, gosh, I'd like something else, well, you're also going to get access to a library of over 600 different posts for you to choose from by category. You're going to love it. Go sign up, ghostposter.com. Don't waste a minute. And then be sure to join the private Facebook group. All right, I'll see you in there.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.